You're listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast, discussing all aspects of precision and long-range rifle shooting. This episode is brought to you by Impact Dynamics, advanced training for the precision shooter. And now, over to your hosts.
Well, hello and welcome to the Precision Shooting Podcast. My name is Rusty and this is our last episode for the year. And tonight you're going to hear a stack of different voices of guys who have joined us at some point in our existence, and we're going to ask some questions about 2017. So sitting with me at the moment, we are at a pub, by the way, so it's probably relatively loud. Sitting with me at the moment is regular guest Bronte. How you doing, Bronte?
Yeah, good, Rusty, and yourself?
Yeah, sweet, man. And Steve sitting next to me as well. How are you, Steve?
Not too bad.
Good, mate. Now, you were one of the first interviews we did. I think you might have actually been in the first interview.
I reckon you're right there. That's definitely a long time ago now.
And clearly you weren't popular enough to come back and join us again.
Nah. Too busy, mate.
No, we're too busy, yeah. So back by popular demand, Steve has joined us. So, guys, the theme, I guess the questions for tonight's episodes, whenever you're listening to this, the question for this particular episode is some stuff you've learned in 2017, some of the lessons to take away, some of the challenges you've had, and also some goals for 2018. Now, I know it's a pretty broad question. It's pretty open-ended. But anything that comes to mind, anything that you've had some challenges with, Bronte, for example, some of your challenges, I'm sure we'll get into. But anything along those lines would be really, really good to hear from you guys about. So, Steve, let's kick off with you, mate. How's it been for you from a shooting perspective? So, I should clarify, we're interested. Shooting, I mean, look, if you've bought a new car or whatever, I don't really care, unless it's shooting related.
Well, yeah, no. Basically, I think, I've actually changed from the bigger 300 cal Win Mag down to 6mm super dedicated competition rifle.
Sure. And
just the way the new technology of bullets is coming, it's just amazing. Basically.
So what are you running now?
6mm super LR, which is basically a 243 with the shoulder pushed back to a 30-degree angle to make it more efficient. That's pretty much it. It's pretty simple.
And it has been working well for you.
It has. It definitely has. I can't believe. I actually feel really comfortable behind it. I know what it's going to do. It's predictable.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, sweet.
Those 110 Sierra Match Kings you run out of it, they're just absolute phenomenal projectile. Their performance, the way they cut wind.
Incredible.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so when did you come to that sort of decision to go down the 6mm line?
Well, basically I decided that if you want to get to, I suppose, the pointy end of the PRS field, that you have to start looking at every little advantage you can get. And one of the big advantages you have with the smaller stuff is with the new, as I said, the new range of projectiles is the BC cuts. But the also thing is because it's such a lighter projectile, you don't have as much movement with your firearms, so spotting those shots, as you'd know, with PRS is absolute paramount. And if your gun's not moving, but it's sending something with high BC down, it makes it a lot easier to make changes on the fly.
Absolutely. Very good. And Bronte, what about you, mate? Any particular decisions or changes in the way you do stuff?
As Rusty's alluded to previously, I've had to have some mechanical failures this year, to say the least, and some ongoing issues with guns breaking down on a pretty regular basis. It's a bit of a running joke at the moment, but it seems to have gotten to the bottom of that.
That's a lie. I haven't seen you run very much.
It's all about the efficiency of movement, Rusty. Efficiency of movement.
I like it. Good move.
That's why I learned to shoot long range. You don't have to chase things. You've set up long way away. It's all great. Less movements.
Perfect.
So, I've been running the 6.5 Super LR this year and running the RDFs, and I've found them to be a pretty decent combination.
Sure.
Definitely improvement over your larger 300 Win Mags. You're getting better ballistics with a lot less recoil, like Steve's talking about. My ballistics aren't quite as good as what Steve has with his Super LR. That thing's
he really has. Yeah, it's an absolutely amazing thing. Yeah. You've nailed it, Steve. You really have nailed it. Until the next thing comes along.
The next amazing thing comes along.
Well, I've sort of been eyeing off changing direction a little bit and going with the ticker action and the 6.5 addiction with a 1-7 twist and the 147 ELDMs.
So what's the 6.5 addiction?
It's basically...
apart from the way I live my life.
Well played, Rusty, well played. It's essentially a improved version of a 6.5 by 55 Swede.
I do know the one. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
there's a few guys in the States running them who are getting some pretty impressive results.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
You're looking at trying to launch a 147 at near on 3,000 feet per second. The ballistics, when you run the numbers on that, are pretty impressive.
Yeah, is that all? Far out.
Yeah, I'd have a hard struggle to catch that even with my Super 6.
Yeah, well, I'll be similar velocities, but I'll just cut the edge a little bit on the 6.5 mil projectile. But there's no such thing as a free lunch, so it will come at a bit of a recoil penalty.
Of course. Yeah.
But a gun that weighs as much as a house, it doesn't move much.
Yeah, absolutely. So, gentlemen, what's been... we talked about some changes you've made. And be it associated with those two, those particular topics, or be it something else. What have you had any major challenges this year from a shooting point of view?
I think probably my biggest challenge with the PRS style is just slowing down and not getting worked up when you make a mistake in a stage. Because I don't know what to call it, like it's machine gun frustration, where you basically... You miss your first shot and then the second and third come faster and faster and faster. So I've been trying to just breathe and relax in between and take stock of what's going on and then just have a quick think before I start squeezing them off. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Good move.
You hit the nail on the head there. It's that whole smooth is slow and slow is fast. Sorry, no, it's the other way around.
That sounds right.
Yeah, something like that. No, yeah, smooth is fast. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast.
That's the one.
Something like that.
That's the one, yeah.
You might need to
But
edit
slow
that
is slow and fast is fast.
one. Yeah, but you can't miss fast enough to win.
Oh, just watch me try.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you actually, once you sort of get to know your equipment, you'll be surprised how much time you actually have in the stages.
Yeah, definitely.
And once you get comfortable with it, and it's a huge key is getting comfortable with your equipment.
Yeah, well and truly.
Using a gun that you're not familiar with, it definitely makes life a bit harder. And you find yourself running out of time, rushing in and trying to get your shots off because you don't want to time out. But it's, it comes at a penalty of missing.
Absolutely. Oh, we've had a few other lads rock up. So, Steve,
Yeah.
let me ask you a bit more. So you talked about machine gunning and going through stages really quickly and that sort of gear. So what have you done to be able to slow that down?
Well, the 6mm basically helps a lot too, where I can actually see where my spots go. But what I find is you'll get that first miss, and if you don't see where your first miss goes, you start firing them off just that little bit faster, and then you get frustrated, and you don't sit there thinking, oh, hang on, have I got the right windage on? Have I got the right target I'm looking at the right distance? And if you don't sit there and just take a quick check at that, check the side of your gun to make sure that's all lined up, you may lose points, you may gain some points. So that's basically one of the things I look at.
Yeah, nice. And so have you practiced that, or how have you come to the point of putting that into it? Or is it just something you're more mindful of when you're shooting?
Yeah, definitely more mindful of. Basically, when you got your pre-stage prep, I kind of have my mental checklist now, as opposed to just rock up and shoot and just see what happens. And just, another good rule is to listen to the, one thing I learned on the weekend is to maybe listen to the stage rules with the tank traps, where you could use the bottom of the tank traps for the first time, and I went back to old school and was trying to use the top of them to balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting to see that development go through, because you're not talking about major changes to your shooting. You're talking about sort of slowing things down mentally and really putting the time in. Anything like that for you, Bronte? Anything that you've been consciously working on, either through drills, dry fire, or something you've been much more mindful at the comps?
Probably one thing I've spent a lot of work in 2017 working on is my wind calls. And probably from the master of wind himself, running through a few bits and pieces with Dan and sort of starting to apply those wind formulas. We are
going to get Dan on here in a moment. He's going to come and join us, but yep, absolutely.
Yeah, running those sort of quick wind formulas, I've noticed a definite improvement in my hit probability.
Sure.
instead of just going, oh, well, it's blowing from the left, so I'll kind of aim to that side of the plate and should be pretty close because we're fairly close to the target. It's a biggish target.
Just hold left edge. Yep, no worries.
There's definitely more of a conscious decision about where we're aiming, and that's sort of been rewarded in more central hits. Obviously, not everyone's in the bullseye, but it's definitely more reliable hits, and that's translated quite well to other shooting aspects with your long-range hunting and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we have had Danny join us as well, and I think one of you lads are going to have to swap one of you lads out
I'm
for
going to
Danny.
tag out. I'm going to beat you, Bronte.
All right, Steve, thanks heaps for your time, man. Good job. A little bit of a rotation in our team here. Bronte's still with us, and we have Dan, who's a fairly regular guest. How you doing, Dan?
Hi, how you going?
Yeah, you guys will recognise that voice. And also Danny. Danny, this is your second podcast, but the first one that people are going to hear because your other one hasn't come out yet.
Can you stop keeping me under wraps, please, mate?
Yeah, I know. I'm saving the best to last, mate. That's all. I'm just saving it. So you're going to be the last episode. All right, gents. So Danny has been smashing the series here locally, and has been doing really well at the sort of little private comps we've been running here. And Dan obviously does some training with Impact Dynamics. You guys probably know that. You've heard it before. So, gentlemen, same questions to you guys. 2017, we're right at the end of it. What have you learnt? What are some of the main changes or big challenges you've faced and that you've made adjustments for? And then we'll perhaps get into also what next year, what 2018 is going to hold for you. Danny, let's start with you, mate.
Wow, that's a hard one.
I like to ask the tough questions.
Right now, don't want to change anything.
No, but throughout this year.
Well, realistically, just shot more. Just shot as much as I could. Knew the gun as well as I did, and that was it, really. Just got behind the gun as much as possible.
Yeah, awesome, man.
And next year, I want to do the same thing. Just stay behind it.
So any changes to equipment or anything like that?
At this stage, no. I've just rebarreled the 6.5, still 6.5 47. Haven't really actually done proper load development for it yet, but I'll get that done in the next couple of weeks and get cracking.
Yeah, nice, mate. And any particular things you've been like dry firing or drilling or anything like that you've been working on?
Generally, I just do that anyway. When I've got some free time and I don't have any ammo to load or anything, I'll just do that anyway. I'll just get behind the gun and just do a bit of, dry fire practice in the shed or whatever.
Yeah, sure. So it's just a general refinement, just trying to sort of get overall better without particularly any focus on an area?
Generally, I just try and use everything for revision. Just keep shooting. And I generally, when I go, shooting on a weekend when I'm not up at Kai, I'll just practice putting myself in uncomfortable positions and making things hard,
But what about your shooting, though? All right, Dan, now that we're copping abuse from that side of the equation, what about yourself, mate? 2017's been an interesting year for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Probably the biggest change I made was just getting used to shooting comps. I'm experienced shooter, but not experienced in comps, so just experimenting different things each time I shot one, worked out what to do and what not to do, and I'm starting to get my head around it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Haven't changed nothing with my gear. I've shot the same gear for years and it works for me, so yeah, not a lot of changes in that area.
Yeah, nice. What skills have you been really focused on refining? Because I know you're always working on something. You're always pushing some limit.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that have been happening through
the things I've been concentrating on for myself aren't really the shooting things or the gun or the low development or any of that. It's just the mindset and how I, for lack of a better word, pay attention to a stage and think about how I'm going to shoot. I think you got to do your homework. I've realised you can't just go, yeah, I'm a good shooter, I'll be right, mate. You can lose points that way. So
I think we probably all attest to Dan this year. Probably his biggest focus has been actually paying attention to stage briefs.
Yeah.
And working out when he shoots and then moves rather than just shooting until he hits.
Yeah, I think you did me on the last comp. I was probably overboard, probably annoying everyone a bit. I was really I'm going to do this right. What can I do? That's what I was lacking.
So 2018, gentlemen. Bronte, what does 2018 hold for you, man?
I'm hoping to change the focus a little bit and get more into the sort of extreme long range sort of stuff.
Okay, yep.
In the process of building a 7 mil, which will be set up to shoot the new 180 ELDMs.
Yep, awesome.
So super fast twist barrel built off a ticker action, so I'm a little bit limited in magazine length. But yeah, overall, we want to get that thing out there to sort of aiming for well over 2Ks for that build. Just a new set of challenges, essentially, from that side.
Awesome. Nice. Danny, what about you, mate? Just dominating the world again?
Keep going, mate. Just keep going. Just keep shooting. To be honest, I really want to get out and do a bit more hunting. I've shifted my focus away from that a little bit too much, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not going to obviously walk away from PRS, but, yeah, more try and get out and actually get away and go hunting again a bit more.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome.
But still be shooting PRS as well.
Yeah, totally. Dan, what about you,
winning.
mate? And winning as well.
I think I can speak for most of the competitors. We wouldn't be upset if you gave up PRS, Danny.
Don't be sore, mate. Don't be sore.
You've got to have something out there to beat, man. You've got to have something to beat. So, like, Danny, obviously you've done really, really well this year. What are you going to do to ensure or to sort of keep pushing yourself? Because
what are you going to do next year when you don't do well?
Well, so what I'm predicting is that, like, other shooters are going to get better. Right, and you know that. So if you're going to still be at the pointy end of the numbers, you're going to have to be inventive and creative to keep pushing yourself forward. Have you thought about what you like, areas that you want to work on, areas of weakness to continue to develop?
Well, usually I try and do that anyway. If there's something that I'd struggle with when I'm shooting, I'll focus on it for a few weeks while I'm out, just banging some steel with the guys. I'll probably just keep doing that. If there's something I'm not comfortable with, I'll just work on it a bit more until I've got it to a point where I'm comfortable to do it all the time.
So for me as a stage or a stage designer, what happens to be uncomfortable for you at the moment?
Nothing at all.
Right, cool. So I'm going to make you run now.
Actually, there you just hit the nail on the head.
The physical side of things?
Yeah, large PRI. I can't remember what the stage was called, but you made us run our target out and put it on there and run back and then shoot it. Are you joking?
No, I wasn't, but I probably won't do that one again.
No, don't.
I think he's worried that he might not wake up the next time if he does. There'll be a mutiny.
Absolutely. Dan, what about you, mate?
I was daydreaming a little bit there, so what was the question again?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Next year...
Should I just talk about something?
Yeah, just talk about something to do with shooting that's good.
You brought up a point before. One thing I've noticed about the last year is just everyone getting better.
Well and truly,
from
man.
Shooting with a lot of these guys in the start of the year towards the end, I'm fighting to stay, at the top if I can. Like everyone's just so close now. The com's so close, and it makes it so fun. If you stuff up on a stage, you're falling back big time.
Absolutely. It's doesn't take long to drop those points, and that level of shooter is getting better. But by the same token, I'm finding that the new guys jumping on board, because there's so much knowledge and experience around, they're like rapidly leaping forward. Because your concern is that if we all you guys get really good, the new shooters haven't got a chance. But I'm actually that's what makes sense. That's what it seems to be the way. But that's not what's happening. What's happening is the new shooters are leveraging your experiences and not making all those simple mistakes that we all made. They're rapidly sort of moving forward, so they're sort of...
Yeah, from what I've seen, people that are beginning, it's like getting caught up in a machine that's moving along quickly.
Yeah.
And they tend to get up to speed quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt.
But it's one of those things that's unique about the shooting community from a lot of other communities. Everyone's so willing to help. We're all willing to share the information. There's nobody that won't tell a new shooter how they're going about it or share a strategy that they've used with success in fear of them being better than them. It's all for the enjoyment.
I call it positive competitiveness.
Absolutely. We all want to go out there and shoot our best, and ideally if we win, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
But ultimately we want to shoot to our own best performance. A little bit like playing golf. You're always playing against yourself first, and then the rest of the guys are second. And obviously we get into each other, stir each other up, but that's all half of it.
I saw that example on the weekend. We had a private shoot, and it sort of counted a bit, like it was a meaningful shoot. And one of the guys walked off, and actually, you might have been involved in this, Bronte. I'm not sure which level, but someone walked off and said, "What was your wind call?" And they went, "Get stuffed." Actually, it was 1.5 to the right.
And, it was 1.1 actually.
1.1. Yeah, but it was a fun and jovial get stuff, mate. And then actually, here's the information, because we're all there for a good time, and if someone else can be hitting, smacking targets, hey, that's really what it's all about. So.
In hindsight, though, that wasn't a good move from my strategy, because our old mate Steve just happened to walk up and hit it 4 out of 5 times at the long shot. So
he did.
He shot extremely well.
But you got to be stoked for him that he did that, hey?
Oh, absolutely, and that's all part of the enjoyment, and you get a lot of joy watching other people succeed, and watching him get off the mat with a big smile on his face because he shot well. And
now that Steve's not here, I can say this about him: of the shooters that we had that shot enough to qualify within our comp, he improved the most. But I wouldn't say that to his face.
Yeah, it's those unicorn projectiles he's got now. That's all it is.
There's a very stern-looking Steve staring down upon us.
Absolutely. Actually, I think he may have heard me. I'm not sure. He's still hanging around.
I think he's just thinking, oh, they're talking about me. What are they saying?
I guess he'll find out once it's released. All good. Guys, awesome. So we're gonna wait until we get a few more different people here who've been on the podcast before, and we shall share it around. So, gentlemen, thanks all for your time, and we will talk to you soon.
No worries.
Cheers, Rusty.
See you later.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate.
Rusty. See ya.
All right, so I found a few more, lads. We've got all of these guys have been before. Galen, how are you, mate? Welcome back.
Good, Rusty. How are you?
Yeah, good. Nick?
I'm a wonderful 7th place, I believe.
Good, I'm glad. And Goldy, well, actually, Goldy, you've been on the podcast before, but your episode is yet to be released, same as Danny's. So people will look forward to. We're going to tease them now with your wonderful voice of gold.
Yeah, the anticipation.
It's absolutely thrilling, mate. Thrilling. Exciting for us all.
Yes, it was an exciting night.
Can't wait to put that one out. So, gentlemen, we're here at the close of 2017. Now, the question I'm going to put to all three of you guys, well, there's a few questions all based around what's the year been like, some of the challenges you've worked through, some of the things that you've faced that you've come through or are still working on. And we will move a little bit into next year, some of the goals and the ideas of stuff like that. So, Nick, let's start with you, mate. You're never quiet about things. Some of the challenges you've found, mate. What's the story?
Challenges.
Yeah.
Personal obstacles. Finding time to shoot regularly. That's a massive one.
Yep.
Which I struggle with on a very regular basis. The other one is being match prepared.
At least you're regular on the struggle.
I'm regular on the toilet, but not regular on the shooting. So
that's good advice for everyone. It helps immensely.
My advice is, and I think I've said this before, please go prepared. Have your rifle zeroed. Know your chronograph to load. Know your drop. Have everything ready. Don't forget earplugs. It's so silly, but I do it every single time.
I was going to say, do all the things that Nick doesn't do. Yeah.
Every time I go unprepared.
Nicely done. Goldy, what about you, mate, overall for 2017? You improved a lot this year.
Yeah, I had a lot of learning to do over the year. I started off by improving a lot of the items I was using, rifles, scopes. Now I'm almost to the point where I've got everything I want, and it's now down to improving my skills as well, which is the hard part, finding time to train, which until recently I didn't even have a club to train at. So, yeah, we're getting there.
Absolutely. Galen, yourself, mate, you've been through a number of equipment changes and challenges and stuff. Give us a rundown of some of the things you've faced in 2017.
Yeah, I have. I've changed some equipment here and there, and just to tweak, I guess, my equipment and make sure it was more suitable. Unfortunately, I made a few equipment choices that initially were made out of maybe a budget constraint rather than suitability. But I like Nick and Goldy as well. I just about every time I pulled the trigger, a point or more was at risk. So
it was just my dignity, Galen. Just dignity.
I think some more practice would be great for me, because I did a lot of comps, the PRS in Mildura and the comp up at Northern Territory as well. So some more practice would be great.
So, gentlemen, maybe Is there something particular you guys identified, worked on and worked through this year that you can recall? Goldy?
Yeah, for myself, I've changed the way I use barricades and work on barricades. Give myself a plan as soon as we're told what the stage is. I turn around, make a plan up for what I'm going to do. And then every barricade, I was trying to get at least 2 points of contact with the rifle. So whether one's on the barricade and one's the rear of the rifle on my knee or something similar, at least it gives you a steady platform. And when I can do that, I can hit a target. When I can't do that, it gets a bit more interesting.
And so you put some work into that this year to try and improve that ability?
Yeah, it was just mentally thinking about it. I haven't had a chance to practice too much of it, but actually thinking about it when you think about going down on the knee, putting your left knee down instead of your right knee, and just those little things you got to work out as you're doing it.
It's funny you mentioned that, as you got it, because you guys haven't heard what the other guys tonight have said, but a number of them have said that stage prep and match prep has been a big thing, like looking at a stage, analysing it and working it out. That's been a big thing. That's, I guess, alluding to what you're talking about as well, getting a brief on something, and then really sort of breaking it down.
Yeah, exactly that. At the end of the day, it comes down to, if there's multiple targets, what order you're going to shoot them in, what you're most comfortable with.
Well done, Nick. You hit that target. Impact.
It's the first time for something.
Yeah. Yeah, and even down to how you're writing your data card up for whether you're dialing to the middle target and holding over and under, or holding all of them. It comes down to what you're comfortable with and how you prepare for it.
Absolutely. What about yourself, Galen? Is there anything particular that you've identified and been able to work on?
I started the year out after doing a lot of dry firing and some target acquisition drills, finding the target quicker, which I struggled with towards the end of last year. So, yeah, I started the year doing that, and I think coming out of this year, probably my biggest focus needs to be the mental attitude, my own mental attitude. I think everybody suffers, from shooting a bad stage here and there. And for me, it's about hitting the reset button, forgetting about the past and worrying about the next stage ahead. So coming out of this year, that's probably the thing I need to work on most. I know the fundamentals of the actual shooting, et cetera, which obviously will always get practiced, but yeah, does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, man. And I think it's along the same lines. Like, so many of you guys and the guys we're dealing with, the shooting is, it's not perfect, but it's improved significantly over the last few years. And the thing that is the next step is that mental game. Speaking of mental, Nick, what about you, mate? Anything particular that you're giving me a very evil stare?
Don't mind if I do. The biggest thing for me, a lot of my focus is always focusing on shooters and their equipment. One thing that I have noticed is actually, because I build a lot of these guys off, so I've worked on Steve's, I've done some work for Galen in the past, obviously you as well, Rusty.
Sure.
A lot of these top shooters I've all worked on. I find that the first couple of stages, I made my action so tight, so accurate, so precise, they were bench rest grade. And it was screwing me over. My gun kept locking up in the sand, and it kept costing me.
Yep.
And I had stuck cases. So I've actually learnt PRS guns have got to have a completely different set of tolerances. I've had to actually break my gun down and rebuild it 3 times over the course of the year, which sucked. But I've learnt so much from that. So actually having other shooters shoot and seeing how they go is helping me provide better products to everybody else. But for myself in preparation, I tend to find that if you actually shoot in advance, even if you're shooting at a range on a bench, shoot one shot, break your position, get up, move to the next bench, like the concrete bench, and shoot again.
Good thing.
You can sit there and shoot 500 shots and go, oh, look how good my group size is. You don't get that chance in PRS. It's fire, move. And as Galen said, it's all about preparation. And Steve, it's all about practice. And for me personally, I actually need to shoot. I only shoot when I shoot PRS. That's the only time of the year I shoot.
Yep.
And it's much to my own undoing. But a lot of it's about trying to assist these other guys to make the best they can do out of it. So that's where I'm at.
I've seen that in you, Nick. You're actually very much that team player. You want to encourage other guys to shoot better. You're happy to take the piss out of yourself, which is good because it's quite easy to do. And you're happy to take the piss out of yourself to relax guys around you so that they hopefully can relax and shoot better.
Nobody shoots well when they're uptight. Galen's had some bad days. As Goldy's had a couple of outings, I've done shockings. But
my bad days end in Y usually.
Yeah, usually. But it's about building up the other guys. And as I've always said, it's points on the board every stage. And they go, I only scored 1, everyone else scored 8. But you didn't score a 0. You got points on the board. And honestly, Galen beat me only by a few points for the entire season. But it was regular points on the board that counted. And every time Galen got that 1 point, that counted.
Yeah,
so you've got to do it. And that's fantastic. And that's what we need to have.
And as we see more sort of season-based events come through, it's a really good point where those little shots you take throughout the year play a role at the end of the year. And it's good to see the season stuff come through. So,
on that,
it's interesting.
I'd actually like to see another team event. As weird as it sounds,
I think a team event would be good.
Team events where we've shot. I think we only shot twice this year. They were fantastic. I loved them. I thought they were fantastic because if anything went wrong, it wasn't me, it was them.
I see. Problem is I don't get on well with anyone, so that's my issue.
Yeah. Shout out to Andy McNeil, my old teammate. Who, sorry, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, good. And so, gentlemen, 2018 is on the horizon. We're almost there. What are you looking forward to? What do you hope? Is there any changes you're going to make? And is there a particular skill you want to work on? What's your next process? Goldy, we'll start with you, man.
Yeah, well, firstly and most importantly, sitting next to Nick here, I really want my new rifle. And
a discount.
Funny you should mention that.
And a discount.
That's all right. I think it's all paid for.
I think we've just planned that today. We were actually talking about a few hours ago. So yeah, we've certainly got a new thing in the works for Mr. Steve over here.
Yeah, no, it should be awesome. I can't wait to get it out there and actually put some rounds through it. And if there's anything I didn't, this year I went out a couple of times without actually knowing my rifle, having brand new loads and no load data and a couple of things like that. The last competition I took a brand new rifle out of someone else's.
If I'm not mistaken, you shot 3 different guns this year?
Yeah, 3 different guns for the year.
Oh, funny that. 3 different guns, Galen. Would that be about right?
Yeah, Galen, tell me about that.
I have also shot 3 different guns, yeah.
Isn't it fun? Seriously, if you want to do well, know yourself and know your rifle. There's nothing better than having the same rifle all year round and shooting the same thing over and over again. You will win. Simple as that.
Shooting a rifle should be so good that it feels boring because it's so predictable. It's so good. It's boring to shoot because every time you aim at something, you hit it. You go, I'm going to shoot that. I'm going to get up. I'm going to leave the gun. They're going to get up, want back 10 feet, come back and shoot again. You're going to hit the gong again. It should feel boring. That's how good it should be.
Yeah.
Or you just need a more interesting match director if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think more interesting on that. That sounds pretty
Or you need to learn how to interpret rules really well.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing.
Yeah. Like, where's that box you can
going
sit
inside the box.
Actually, the last stage, I actually shot one off hand as well when everyone was using a barricade. And I still shot off hand.
Yeah, did you hit that one?
Let's not talk about that.
It was only 215 metres or something like that.
Galen, what about yourself, mate, next year?
So next year, there's 4 or 5 comps that I probably want to get into. And some local stuff as well, so I'm pretty keen on doing that and actually improving in the standings there. But I think I've just built a new rifle and shot it 5 days ago, and was happy with some of the results and made some stupid errors with it on a couple of stages, like not dialing any elevation.
Yeah, so that happens.
It does happen, and I was pretty annoyed. But anyway, so I think moving forward, I just want some more trigger time, and what I've actually done to make that happen is I've managed to get myself on a culling property, and it's a couple of times a week.
A chicken farm doesn't count, mate.
Oh, chicken farms, they just stand still.
The chickens.
They're a good target at 500 metres.
So I think that's going to give me a bit of an ability to have to force myself to get into odd positions quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Take the shot quickly.
Yep.
And also there's some physicality to it as well with the terrain. So that's what I'm basing a lot of next year on, and I plan only to shoot the one rifle next year. So
are you still practicing in them pink yoga pants, Galen, that we talked about?
Yeah, no, I don't use the yoga pants.
Doesn't use pants at all now. He's moved beyond that.
I've upped the ante to no pants.
Yeah, the prickles.
Congratulations, you're a braver man than I am.
Yeah.
Well, a colder man. Excellent, gentlemen. Well, thank you very much for spending some time sharing your wisdom and thoughts. 2018 should be a very exciting year. One of the things that we're doing from a podcast point of view, and we've done a few times this year, but upping the ante for next year, is we're looking at doing an episode a week next year, rather than one every fortnight and occasionally one a week. So
I look forward to losing even more time to listening and not working.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, excuses not to do any work or any. What did you say, Goldie?
After he finishes my rifle there.
Yeah, exactly right. So we're going to move forward to an episode a week, and hopefully we can continue that. So requests are welcome, interview suggestions are welcome, questions are welcome as long as Andrew can answer them. And we will be back in 2018. So, guys, enjoy New Year's, stay safe and all that sort of gear, and we'll see you in 2018.
Certainly, Rusty. The pleasure was all over there.
Absolutely. Or something. All right, gentlemen.
Thanks, Rusty, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Thanks for listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast. To continue the discussion, check out our Facebook page. And for more information, head to our website, www.precisionshootingpodcast.com.au. This episode was brought to you by Impact Dynamics, advanced training for the precision shooter.